could have chosen a more scenic route. I just wanted to show the bike path. Twelfth Avenue bike path. It runs east-west. Previous video I've shown going west out to Edworthy Park and beyond. Today I'm going to head east into Victoria Park, Inglewood area. I'm going to go check out the Weir and the kayaking project that was built there along the Bow River by the Weir. I guess the kayak course. It's a bit windy, hopefully that doesn't impede the audio. It is September 29th. It's currently 25 degrees Celsius. Dedicated pathways are very safe. Mind you, you have to keep your wits. I mean, these days half the people on the road are texting, and a lot of them are oblivious to these laneways when turning or anything. So another red light. And you'll notice the cycle lane is red, but traffic is green. There we go. They leveled that. The old TransAlta Utilities building. I made a comment the other day in a video on the Jimmy Condon building, how they just, every time you turn your head there's something going down. Downtown is to my left. There used to be a co-op grocery store right where my camera is pointing. Oh, since the late 1950s, and I think they tore it down. Must be 20 years ago now. And they moved the co-op to what's now called Midtown Co-op, a little further west along 11th Ave. Coming up on Stampede Park, Stampede grounds. That's the Roundup Center over there, Saddle Dome, the new convention center, and the construction for the new professional NHL hockey arena is straight up this way. Looks like some detours ahead. There's always construction. Maybe my path is closed. Mind you, it doesn't go much further than Victoria Park. So we'll find out when we get up there. There's always a slight detour up here because the path kind of ends abruptly, and then you kind of navigate to the connecting path, which isn't too far ahead. Oh yeah, they got it shut down early, a few blocks before it usually ends. I wonder if I can sidewalk it. Detour. Yeah, I'm curious. I want to see what's going on up there. So I will illegally cross the street. Cowboys Casino. Boy, this sure has changed from the Victoria Park that I once knew. This older school was brought in and reassembled. That's not the original Victoria Park school. The original school, or a portion of it, is in behind. And all the homes that used to make up Victoria Park are long gone. I think there might be a half a dozen or so still standing, but this was all houses. Even where the Saddle Dome is, where the Roundup Center is, where all this was all homes. This is residential. The oldest neighborhood in the city, pretty much. And Stampede Park has most of it, or all of it now. And everything to my left was homes and houses. It was a big area, inner city neighborhood. And there's Studio Bell down there. Yeah, this is kind of rugged terrain. Oh, that's just imagine all these homes. And I mean, it was a decent neighborhood up until the 1970s, I think the late 70s, mid 70s, when a lot of slumlords began. Like the families kids had grown up, moved out, and slumlords began buying those houses and suiting them, making 2 or 3 suites, and you know, drug havens, drug dens, prostitution. That's kind of what Victoria Park became known for. This is a huge project, this new arena they're building. I think it's scheduled for completion in 2027. Massive. I'll just stop here and take a look. And that's the Saddle Dome right there. And this is where the new arena will go. All these vehicles people parked here are construction workers. Hopefully they get parking for free every day they come to work. Maybe Stampede Board charges them. I don't know. Here's a house. I don't think anybody's lived in it for a few years. One house. Yeah, there's only one house left. Unless I missed one or two. There used to be a couple of stragglers back there, but I think they're all gone. Crazy. Even the bus barns, I remember they built these barns back in the early to mid 80s. But I remember houses being here. I used to skate on the outdoor rink over there. I lived in Ramsey back then. And at that time, they didn't have a rink on the Ramsey Hill. Eventually they put one there, and they put that stupid cover over it, and the ice would always melt because that cover would trap the heat in. So we would either opt for the rink here, or there was 2 over in Englewood outdoor rinks. There's also one in Bridgeland. The days of the outdoor rink, I think there's still one in Acadia. There's probably a handful scattered around the city, but the reason these young players are so good these days is You got all the indoor ice time, every neighborhood. We're practicing playing year-round now. So that's Ramsey to my right. I'm debating which way I'm going to go. There's a few ways I could approach this. I think I'll take the path straight ahead of me here. I don't hear anything. And the road is actually closed in front of me here. The only access would be for people working at transit. And this guy doesn't seem to be aware. Oh, I guess he must work there. I remember back in the early 80s, we watched a bus go right underneath this bridge and knock the top off of it. He was headed back to the barns here. It's a smaller bus, but he totally clueless. We're waving at him and trying to warn him, and he's waving back at us. I remember looking at him and then just ripped the whole top of the bus off. Small bus. We used to go fishing under here. We used to crawl up underneath one of these bridges. This one's new. I might just pedal up top, or I can see it from this side too. And then I'm going to let my camera cool down. Here's downtown. Pedaled through here a few times with my camera, mostly coming from Prince's Island or somewhere west. I'm just going to do a quick turn here. There's the Elbow River. Looking south, you can see a portion of the Saddle Dome right there. And there's the Elbow River feeding into the Bow River. Pretty low right now, this time of year. And from what I can see, the last time I was here, I noticed they opened up the path, because they had this path to the left closed for a couple of years. There was a large sewage project underway. They call it a trunk, I think, trunk project. I think that's complete. Everything seems to be open. Yeah, for at least 2 or 3 years, this was closed. You could not pedal further than this. Well, you could, but you wouldn't get far, because they had everything closed off. Now it looks like they're trying to regrow the grass and everything that was in here where the construction was. I can't think of any other reason they would have this closed down. Yeah, they planted some young trees in there. Yeah, it's nice that this section is reopened. Previous years we had to detour through Englewood. So over here is Englewood, the neighborhood, 9th Avenue. It's kind of a trendy place now. Back in the day it was pretty seedy, prostitutes and that kind of thing, but they've revitalized it, sort of gentrified it, much like Kensington and Calgary. That neighborhood is unrecognizable compared to what it would have been 40 or 50 years ago. I remember when I was just out of school, I rented an apartment along 9th Ave. I forget the block. 9th Ave and would be maybe 12th Street, something like that. But whenever my father would come over to visit, he would park out front along 9th Avenue and he'd have prostitutes running up and trying to get into his car, thinking that he was a John. They were everywhere around Inglewood back then. And if I was to go up top here, I could get to 9th Avenue. I might show a little bit of that later in my video, I'm not sure. You know what, I'm going to head up there just quickly, just to show a little bit of the... I've never taken this path. This was not here a few years ago. And I mentioned they'd had everything closed down, so yeah. And this bridge opened up about 5 years ago. I suppose I could cross over, but I'm going to go back under. So yeah, up there is 9th Avenue, where all the cars are clustered at that light. And we'll do a circle. And we'll go back down and under the bridge to the Weir. Look both ways. I remember about 40 plus years ago, maybe close to 50 years ago, 45 years ago, I used to hang around here a lot with friends, go fishing, drink beer, smoke dope. In fact, I had a buddy. He had what he called his lucky stone, his lucky pebble. And he had a bit of bad luck, so he was cursing and he thought he'd throw his lucky pebble into the river. It was a chunk of hash that he accidentally threw in there. I'll never forget that. Good old days. Yeah, that's a really strong wind, but it's warm. But I think we're headed for some cooler temperatures, at least below 20 degrees Celsius. So upper teens. But I think right now we're 25. Feels nice. No need for a jacket. It's pretty good for heading into October. And this is still Inglewood. And Bow River is just to my left. And that's where we're headed. Look for cars. Yeah, it's a nice older area. These are all infills that I see here. It's almost like a separate little town when you get into it here, Inglewood. Now, interesting. last week. These trees have, I was through here a little over a week ago, and this tree in front of me hardly had any yellow on it. Yet this one here is totally green. Same tree, same kind of tree. Yeah, the Bow River is really low. Anyway, I just thought I would capture a little bit of this for, I guess mainly for family and friends, but if anybody else sees this. I got a lot of family that I try to entice to get out here to visit. There's a nice bench there. Try to keep these clips relatively short. Sometimes I forget and I let them go 5 minutes. I try not to do more than 2 or 3 minute clips. And that, I believe, is the Sam Livingston Fish Hatchery. And in total, from where I live in the Beltline close to downtown, it didn't even take me 15 minutes to get here. Not even. Boat launch there. I'm gonna head over here. So they've redeveloped all of this. If you would have come through here 15 years ago, this wasn't here. None of this stuff. There was always a lookout here, but it was very simple concrete. And they've redone the Weir. I got a video, my dad and I were here in 2004, and just with the crappy cameras that were available back then. And there must have been 50, what do you call it? Pelicans. All perched along the old Weir. They've redeveloped this. This is different. It's not as dangerous as the old one, apparently. And they've made this channel right here for the kayak course. And those boulders didn't exist in the past. But yeah, it's really neat coming here, seeing this. My dad and I were here over 20 years ago with the pelicans, and they come not every year. They tend to pick different spots along the Bow River in various parts of the city, but I don't see them here that frequently, once every few years. So we're gonna head around to see that kayak course. But I like what they did up here. Not sure what I think of the stonework. Wonder if I can get to it this way. Yes?
Do you know which way is to the parking lot?
To the parking lot? There's a couple of different ways. Where did you come from? This way?
Yeah, because we started there and we came all the way like
I think
here.
it's best to go back, and then you'll go to your parking would be to your right. Like if you follow this path, there'll be another path to your right that'll take you into
Oh, okay.
That was a big park area, right? The big park and all the tables, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you back there. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, look at this, hey? She's gonna be on YouTube. Wow. Yeah, this is really cool. And you know, I've come here on Saturdays, on really hot summer days. It's just infested with people. So many people here. It's just a really cool hangout. Some people even put their tube in here or their raft, and they just sail down this little. And for the most part, it's safe. I mean, it's still turbid. It's still turbid water. You got to have your wits and a life jacket on, but still, that'd be kind of cool. I don't own a kayak, but I definitely go on a rubber raft through here. So yeah, the city put all this together. The original kayak course they built, they ripped up and redid it because I think someone drowned on that, and it was nowhere near as elaborate as this. You got some slower moving water there. The one they did the first time was just a straight channel, and it was really fast. And they've even put some boulders out in the middle, man-made there. You can see the river there. Yeah, it's a good way to do this on a bicycle. Yeah, on a weekend or a hot summer day, these would all be, people would be seated along here. And there were some professional, like I think, contests and competitions along here. I saw Global News or CBC here filming a competition one day. Yeah, there's some people with their gear on there. Yeah, he's got like a wave board down there. Hey, how is this course pretty good?
Yeah.
Good course? Yeah?
Oh,
I know they built one here before, but somebody died on that one, right? Oh yeah, maybe 10 years ago. They built another really crude channel for kayaking, but it was so fast. It was really fast. One guy...
There is on the other side here, it's the harder.
Yeah.
I think someone died on that side.
But before they built this, there was another one, and then they tore it all up after 1 or 2 deaths, and then they redeveloped this. So
yeah,
looks a lot safer.
Well, yeah, and it's got concrete through all the rocks. There's nowhere to get caught.
Yeah. Nice. Do they have professional competitions here too, do you think, or?
I've seen them have like non-professional ones.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I've come down here on a weekend when there's hundreds of people here, and
oh, yeah.
It seems like a pretty cool place to hang out.
Yeah, it's a nice park here too.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I used to come here a lot with my family and that, and I noticed our little spot by a little waterfall is still there, kind of secluded little area.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, right on. Hey, thanks a lot, bud. Yeah. You can get an idea of the scope of this. It's beautiful, really. That water looks so inviting. And what that fellow said, there's not a lot of jagged rocks or anything, so there's nothing to get hung up on in here. That's really cool. Looks like a nice little place to sit and have a lunch. Have your lunch. Really calm waters along the edge. And then eventually this feeds back into the main part of the Bow River. It's an impressive feat what they did, and I think that's really good, and it might get somebody interested in kayaking or doing something different, you know. Oh yeah, they got the markers hanging there. It's just things I never noticed because usually there's so many people here. And it's sunny whenever I come here. It's kind of a cloudy day here. Hope we don't get rained on. Not much point in pedaling down there. It looks like a launch. Yeah. I wonder how many other cities have this in the city, like coming off of the main river. I'm sure Calgary can't be the only or the first. Yeah, there's the Bow River out there. See, at one point in time, this would come, where I just pedaled was all swamp and kind of lagoon. So the water would come through here, and all this is fed from the Bow River. It's just pumped up and brought through. But this would come through, and it would all be wetland here. And I remember seeing so many mergansers and different types of ducks and geese. We used to see a beaver swimming through here, bringing his twigs to build his dam. So in a way, they did destroy a lot of habitat. Not in a way, they did. But I mean, I guess it's not like they tore up the whole park, so there's still plenty of places for wildlife. But and they did actually build another wetland over there, so I'm sure a lot of those birds and animals would have made their way there. I'm just going to go up to the end. So there's a good shot of the kayak course feeding into the Bow, and there's a guy out there in a canoe. Appears to be struggling. Oh, here's a major boat launch. See, I've never seen this. Oh, it looks like he's stuck on a sandbar. That's why it pays to bring a paddle.
You lost it.
Oh no!
Somewhere.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, poor guy. So I guess she's directing him which way to go because she has a better visual. Yeah, he's out of it now. Yikes. That's crazy. The boy's asking if he's alright. So, I always forget which way to go. I think I can get to it on the other side of this bridge. Or maybe it's through here. Whoa, sorry. Yes, and there's nobody here. Nobody ever sees this for what? It's more overgrown now, so it's a little more hidden. And they put a fence up, or maybe that was always here. Nice picnic table. There's a few places to sit. There's somebody sitting on the edge where I would typically go. So somebody. This is kind of. I don't mean to intrude. So yeah, prior to the kayak course, you would often see the beaver going straight through here out to the wetland that's now part of the kayak course, and they would be constructing their dams out there. So anyway, just wanted to give a visual of this. Didn't expect people there. I'm gonna go back through. We'll head back out to the path. I'm going to show a little bit of the park, not a lot. But I'm not even sure what this park is called, you know? It's in Inglewood, Calgary. The Weir is here, Sam Livingston Fish Hatchery. So the park would be, I don't even know what it's called. Inglewood Park. Hey, what is this park called?
Pearce Estate.
Pearce Estate, okay, yeah. Thanks. Pearce Estate. I'm gonna zigzag up here. So there's the kayak path. I just went all the way along there a minute ago. Now I'm headed the opposite direction but along the path. Nothing like stating the obvious in my video. They got porta potties here, that's nice. They didn't used to. So, shoulder check and I signal. Yeah, William Pearce Water Conservation Area. And there's a nice little place to sit back here, but the water, there's no water down there right now. Sometimes when they let that gate open, the water would just be gushing through here around that corner. And there's a large picnic area. Oh, there's some people having a nice picnic there. A large picnic area. They used to be double this size until they made the back half or the back quarter a wetland. So you can see picnic tables, lots of parking over here. And that's what those ladies were asking, that lady was asking about. So yeah, back there is a wetland. I'm not gonna go over, well maybe I will. This stabilizer on my GoPro is awesome. It's almost like I'm hovering over this, and there's serious potholes and bumps here, but camera really stabilizes well. Yeah, so prior to this wetland, this was all park, just like what I've traveled through. Picnic tables and park. And yeah, it's nice they have this for the bird watchers. And the Inglewood Bird Sanctuary is very close to here too, and that's a beautiful, some nice nature paths. Oh, they even got binoculars. And that's one thing, you know, bulrushes, coming from Winnipeg, they're everywhere. Every ditch has them. I don't remember seeing too many in Calgary, not the city. And even outside the city, not a whole lot. Not like Manitoba and Ontario. We used to light them up as torches. They were quite flammable. So, I guess we don't really need to see much more over here, but I will pedal just to show some of the amenities. And there's public washrooms over there, facility, as well as the porta potties we saw. Lots of parking over here. Picnic areas, kids' playground. And I'm gonna head back over to the path. A lot of schools still do tours. I know when I first moved here, we did a tour of that. I would have been back in the 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that. yeah, there we go. There's the gate back there. I've got that partially open. Water's flowing through here. But there's another gate further up they've got closed that would have a little more water in a couple of those canals. But you can see how nice and clear that is. Anyways, no fish in it. Not that I could see. Now, it's so overgrown with grasses. Well, I was in here having my photo taken 20 years, 15 years ago, and there was no, it was all short grass. We'll see where this takes us. I already know where it takes us. If I wanted, I could keep pedaling all the way to the south end of Calgary down to Fish Creek, which I did last summer. Excuse me. And the funny thing is, you're pedaling through this, seems very natural. Then there's a freeway. I can hear the traffic a little bit close by, an inner city freeway. I meant to do this video one sunny day about 2 weeks ago, but I didn't. There's the Bow River. And I'm going to be going underneath the 17th Avenue Bridge. 17th Ave runs east-west. To my left is Forest Lawn. To my right is Inglewood. That pipe is dangerous. Well, I guess there'd be enough clearance, but with my camera on my head, I've got to remember that when I come back. Yeah, there's a neat little track here. I forget what it's for, like motocross or MX. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there because there's a nice shot of downtown in the background. I won't be going on the track. So yeah, you can make out the Calgary Tower over there in the middle. Looks like fun. I wonder if they allow skateboards on here. Probably not. All right. Well, it's a good thing I brought my power block because I've only got 15% battery, and it was 98% when I left home. But when you're shooting in 4K, it consumes the battery pretty quick, so I don't think I'm going to get much further here. Then I'm going to charge up before I head back. And this is still Englewood. Rode this path many times over the years. In fact, I remember when they opened this. And that's 25 years ago. It was always a path, but it didn't meander like this. And I think maybe the flood in 2013 changed things too. You see what I mean? You get a real small town vibe in Englewood. It's kind of isolated by the Bow River, the railway tracks, downtown. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see only 15% on there. And I didn't really want to go too much further than this today. I think before the snow flies, I might try to pedal down to Carburn Park, weather permitting, which is just sort of on the way to Fish Creek. Maybe a quarter of the way there. A third of the way to Fish Creek is Carburn. Oh, they got this closed off now too. At one point you could walk right through here, but I think that flood ripped up part of the shore here. Yeah, the landscape has really changed. Yeah, these are all infills. Newer. So if I was to continue going straight, there's a long road or pathway that'll take me to the bird sanctuary. It's right here, Englewood Bird Sanctuary. And if I was to continue on that, I would just keep heading south, and that's how I get all the way to Fish Creek. I pedaled it last year, and there and back, I think it was 44 kilometers, 48 kilometers. Granted, by car, it's half that, but the pass system kind of meanders this way, that way, but all in total, it was 44 kilometers. Pedaling there wasn't so bad. Coming home, I think I had the wind against me and it was brutally hot. It was 32 degrees and one whole side of my body was burnt. So you could tell how long I was pedaling. But I'm not going to go any further than this. I'm going to shut down. Just shooting back, heading the other way. There's the 17th Avenue Bridge going to Forest Lawn, which is over there. I guess I could either go straight through, and I might do that. Oh, this is just like a little loop, part of the path. Takes it to the right and back out again. Oh no. Quite a bit. Some of the hills. Nice original little bungalow there. I like that. I mean, the infills are nice, but they're something sort of disingenuine, sort of, yeah, not a fan. Take a tiny lot and build as big a home as you can, so you're almost sharing the eaves trough with your neighbor. Or if you want a bigger home, buy 2 lots and build it out as big as you possibly can on 2 25-foot lots and share the eaves trough with your neighbor. That's what it's come down to. A lot of the older areas, Hillhurst, Inglewood, Ramsey, they're lots of infills. Boy, I can't believe how big downtown has gotten. I would go up there and take a quick shot of Forest Lawn and downtown from there, but here's where I got to watch out for that pipe. Yes. Well, I think I got enough juice in the battery. I got it up to about 25%, and that took about 15 minutes. It was at 2% or 3% when it shut down. I don't really need to film this again, so I won't. I'm going to head back towards downtown. I'm going in the opposite direction. There's a nice quick view of downtown from here. And part of the zoo is over there. That's the zoo. Heading west, heading back downtown. Sat here several times over the years. So rather than go where that lady was, I'm gonna take one of these avenues and bypass that little section of path that I took on the way in here. I haven't come down this, it's called New Street. I haven't driven down New Street in many years. Lots of new homes, infills. A few original houses, but infill. Original infill, original nice house there. New place. Never even noticed those houses in there. Wow. Pretty cool. That's a big home. And these people back onto the river on my right side here, these homes. They have some very deep lots. I won't bother going through Inglewood. I kind of wanted to, but that's another video unto its own. Maybe I'll walk through there one day with the camera. Ooh, goody, a hill. Woo, that was fun. So you can see that flood protection wall there. They erected that just after the 2013 flood to protect the zoo and the shoreline from erosion, because the zoo got it really bad. Everything was flooded there, as was Englewood behind me and many parts of the city, including where I live. By this earlier. Ooh, Mr. Magpie. Can't figure out those big, huge tires. To me, that's a big disadvantage. But and there's downtown straight ahead of me, East Village. Wow. It's been a while since I've come through here headed this direction. As I mentioned before, this was closed. Go straight through to see if they've opened this up. I bet you it's closed. I forget what this is, Rouge House or one of those older homes that's converted into a restaurant and entertainment venue, weddings and private parties. I've eaten here a couple times over the years, at least 3 or 4 times. Oh, does not go through. It just comes back here. Oh. Dean House or Cross House? Which one is this? I always forget. Yeah, this is totally new because this bridge is new. This bridge replaced that bridge, or bridge that used to be here. I think that's still for the train. And that's Englewood. Lots of stores and shops and restaurants going for block after block that way. Someday I'll showcase it. I'm not sure if I should go left or right. Either way will get me where I want to go. I'm going to go to the right because there's a red light to my left. Wow. Yeah, and then I got to go right again to get underneath this bridge. Can't cross. This is Fort Calgary. Or there was a fort here 150 years ago. But they still call it Fort Calgary. filmed this before, Stampede Grounds, but it's a little more scenic than the 12th Avenue bike lane. We've seen both before, but I'd rather travel through here. Saddle dome straight through these trees. Not sure if we can see it. Scotsman's Hill to my left. And I'm going to go under as opposed to over. I was just here a few days ago and climbed these stairs in one of my videos, and I don't recall seeing this big inflatable tent to my right. Not sure what kind of event is going on there. So I could either go through the Stampede Grounds or take the path through Lindsay Park. I think I'll take the path. But I'll stop here. Shoulder check, just to show the dome. And now I'll continue on. And I was just up there a couple days ago taking photos.